Loading, it's loading. It says end broadcast, so I assume we're live, right?
We are live.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live. Fair warning up front, this is my very first live, so if I say things that don't make sense, you know, this is what happens then. Hello, other guest.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm super excited to talk with you all about the Sisterhood of the Traveling Book Box.
Yes, there's a cat.
I'm sure Lucy will have to say a couple of things too. That's the
Right.
cat there.
I feel like that was an eye roll. That's so rude.
Okay, don't pay attention to the cat. That's what we've learned right now. All right, before we get started, why don't we do just a quick round of introductions, starting with Kate. I think I have Kate, Stephanie, Jessi, and then myself. That's at least what it looks like on my screen.
I'm Kate. I'm from the Literary Apothecary, and I'm excited to talk about books with some of my best friends.
I'm Stephanie from Miss Richards Reads, and this is Lucy. And we are both very excited to be here today.
Hi, I'm Jessi from The Bookish Mom, and you may or may not see more tiny humans running in and out of my background, and that is just normal for me. I just ignore it. But I'm very excited to talk about books with some of my best friends here.
Yes.
Yay, awesome. And hi, I'm Fina from Fina Reads. Well, you're on my channel, so I hope you know a little bit at least who I am, I guess. And I'm also very excited to talk about that book box because that has been, I think, one of the longest projects that we've worked on, like from the time we started till it was sent to everybody else and then till we finally went live and now talking about it. That was half a year, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Probably. Awesome. So just
It feels like 5 years.
The waiting in between definitely was.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So just in case, just to quickly explain what that traveling books box even is. So it was a little project where we sent each other books, but the way it worked is I put a box together with 11 books, which confused everyone. Send it off to Leslie. She was able to, or she opened the box, had no idea what was in there, could pick as many books as she wanted and had to put as many books back in and then send it on to the next person, Kate, which I think was you, right?
Yep.
And then it continued down the way. So everybody took books out, put books back in. We had no idea because we didn't spoil each other while we were doing this. Till it came back to me, and then I had 18 books in the box. So they had fun with traveling, I guess.
18?
Jeez.
That was not me. I put exactly the amount of books I was supposed to put in.
I think it was Evie put a few more in.
I think I put extra in.
Yeah, and I think
I
Ellen
put an
too.
extra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Ellen
I had a
edited
hard enough time just choosing the 5 books that I had to put in.
Yeah. I think we're
Right.
rule followers and everyone else is not.
Y'all are the rebels.
Yeah.
The rebels, I'm putting extra stuff in your bags.
I love Jessi was especially the rebel because she was like, why is everything wrapped in itself? And threw away all those pouches.
Those things were so, I was like, what is going on? It confused me so much.
I love that part.
And they wouldn't fit. Like, I was on the struggle bus getting everything to fit in there.
All right, let's talk about, I mean, you all, when I pinged you, you were like, first, probably, who is this lady anyway? And then, why is this ridiculous idea? So tell me what you were thinking when I pinged you and then how you experienced the box itself.
Well,
Like-
my biggest concern was that I am still relatively new to the fantasy world. So I wanted to be able to pick books that everyone else would enjoy, but most of my collection is not fantasy related. So when we were first talking strictly fantasy science fiction, I was like, crap, am I going to have to spend a bunch of money just to put books in here that I think people would like? And then once we opened it to like any genre, I'm like, okay, I can do this now. But I was so worried that I was going to put in a bunch of books and everyone's going to be like, what the hell are these? might have still done, but
Yeah, I'm also kind of new, so I feel like a lot of the stuff I had, everybody had already read.
Yeah.
And so I was like, crap, what am I going to put in there? And then again, when we opened it to everyone, it made me feel a lot better.
Yeah. And I mean, I mainly read sci-fi fantasy anyway, but I'm still pretty new, just like back into reading within the past couple of years. But I think my biggest thing was I hate going to the post office. I think that stressed me out the most was I'm like, I have to actually physically walk into the post office to take this massive box.
Yes, it was. Oh my gosh, I had to lug it out of my car to the post office. And I'm so glad it was right down the road from where I work.
Yeah.
It's like, the lady goes, how is this held together? Duct tape? And I was like, pretty much.
Hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
I was glad that the box arrived to me before my surgery because I was like, if this comes after my surgery when I'm supposed to be in a giant sling for 6 weeks, how am I going to carry this to the post office?
Right.
Now I'm going to have to wait for like 2 months just to get the box installed at box 2.
Right.
Yeah, when it came here, like my husband picked it up from the front porch and lugged it into my office. I was like, what happened to the box? It was so disappointing. The paper was so soft and squishy at that time. It arrived here and was all covered in duct tape and everything. Like the whole thing is still sitting somewhere here on the side. Oh my god, that's a box. But I'm excited that it survived the entire round trip. And
It was
That's incredible.
a very well crafted
Yeah.
box.
That was a sturdy box. That was a good box.
yeah.
And
yeah.
it looked nice too.
Thank you.
It was
Yeah, I had
pretty.
fun with it. I know Andrew wanted to throw it out and replace it with something. I'm kind of glad he didn't.
Yeah, I think he just
Right.
ended up reinforcing it with a bunch of tape.
He did. Because I
Yeah.
got it after Andrew, and it was taped to high heaven.
There were layers of tape you had to go through. Yes.
Just layers. I'm like, I'm like trying to get my husband's pocket knife. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I was a little bit worried when I watched you with the knife going into the box. I was like, all right,
Stab.
you serious?
It was serious.
Yeah. So which books did you, I remember some of the books that you picked, but do you remember like your favorite book that you picked from the box or why you picked a certain book from the box?
I know it was funny because it was the one like non-fantasy book. I was so excited for that Prince like memoir. Like the Prince biography was just I was excited by it. Like,
That looked
It's a
like a really
gorgeous
good book.
like, I love Prince.
But like super heavy.
Yeah. It
I
was
didn't
heavy.
realize it was that heavy when I picked it up, and it was like, oh, crap,
It was.
sturdy book.
Yeah. And then Andrew sent, I think it was Andrew that put in something, I think it was like massive, like a 10-book series in a bind up. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
what is this?
That Ember book. right?
Monstrosity.
10 books right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So theoretically, at one point we had 20 books in the box.
Yeah.
theoretically.
Yeah.
I was like, holy cow.
Yeah. I think Kate was the one that put this in there. The other Einstein. I just loved the cover
That is a
and the
pretty
title.
cover.
As soon as I saw this, I was like, I need to have it.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is on my Amazon list now because I saw you talking about it. It was like, oh, that sounds really good. Okay, wish list. That was the
Right?
worst for me on that whole trip, by the way, watching the videos, all the books that I've seen that didn't arrive, right? That others picked.
Yes.
Okay, this one. Oh, this one sounds good too. Okay, this one.
Yes.
PR will never shrink.
Never. That's every time I watch any video, I like have my Amazon open. I'm like, we're adding this to the list.
My list is
Like, I need more.
unrelated. I think like for me, I had picking favorites. So like when I went through the process of deciding which books to get, I knew I was going to get way too many to begin with. I knew I was going to want like every single one of the books in there. But I kind of went through a couple different rounds of picking, and I first picked out like the names that the titles that I knew of that had already been on my radar. Like Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. I've wanted to read that forever. Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Lost Apothecary. And then there was these 2 outlier books that just like, this book intrigued me because I like the teacher-student trope.
Yeah.
Magician. Yeah. And then I like heard a bunch of people talking about it on Discord afterwards. I'm like, oh, I have that book. And then this one I purely cover stole because the cover just like pulled me in.
Those were both from me, the last 2. Those were the ones I put in at the beginning.
I had seen Project Hail Mary, and before I watched Leslie's video, I was like, that's definitely Fine. Because I remember you absolutely loved that book. And then I learned it was Leslie instead.
Right?
Yeah, Leslie she bought new books for that, right? She really didn't want to part with any of her existing books, which I kind of understand. Like, I mean, who wants to part with books, right? It's Leslie's decision eventually. But yeah.
Leslie's the worst about unhauling, though. Like, she does not like to unhaul her collection. Me, on the other hand, I'm like chucking stuff out all the time.
Well, especially if it's a book that I didn't enjoy or enjoyed and know I wouldn't read them anymore.
Yeah.
So from the books that I put in, Lore was one of those books. I think Leslie took it immediately. I liked it. It was super fun. It looked gorgeous, but I knew I would never read it again. So I was like, that is perfect. The book box is the perfect project for
right?
Right? Yeah. So for me, the books that I received, because I got the entire box, right? So I received what did I say? 18 books? Well, I had a couple of those I had already. But for me, I think I have to go with different ones. But the one that I'm really excited about is this one that Evie put in. And since then, I've never heard about it before, Ka. And I am not pronouncing the rest of the title, something with the ruin of, and then I'm not even trying.
I wouldn't even try.
And I've never heard of it. But since then, I've seen it in 2 or 3 other BookTube people videos thingies, and I have seen people saying like, hey, great author, great book, blah blah blah. I was like, oh, all right, well.
Right.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. But in general, I thought what I really loved is that diversity of books with the genres, right? Because I have now, and I have the stack on the side here, just FYI, like there's historical fiction, biographies, fantasy in there, sci-fi, classics. It's everything.
Yeah.
And it's just so I'm super excited about reading all of those because it's just so interesting. It's things that I would have not picked up, like the one, Stephanie, that you put in, the Blood Dazzler, the poetry one. I'm so excited about reading this, and I would have never bought a poetry book because I don't know poetry. I've never read poetry, so I don't know how I would experience that. But one of the ideas that I had with that, because I like doing art and art journaling every now and then, those poetry, the poems itself would be great as inspiration for art. And making, like an art journal page or a canvas based off of that poem. So I'm really excited to dive into that.
That makes me happy because it killed me watching the videos, watching people stick it back in. And I'm like,
well, I see Evie over on this side, and it was so funny because the books that I put into the box, I like put them in specifically thinking of Evie, but also thinking like other people down the road might like them if Evie didn't take them.
Yeah.
And then Evie didn't end up taking any one of them, and it's like I felt so bad. And we were
that
like,
happened to me too, though.
Each other spoilers. She's like, okay, I know we're not supposed to do this, but which books did you put in? And so she's like, oh my god.
That happened to me because I had Alan after me. Okay, and I'm like, there's no pleasing Alan, so I'm putting stuff in there for Christina, and he took not a thing. And then he was like, oh, I didn't even think to take something for Christina. And I'm like, dude. I'm like, I put the Night Circus in there because, like, Christina would probably like that because she liked Kingdom of Back. Like,
yeah.
Like, come
Well,
on,
I'm
sir.
going to experience it now. Too bad.
Right? It's fantastic. I was like, it's one of my favorites. Take it for her.
Yeah, I just see Evie, who also joined us in the book box, right? She just said, "Hey, after the fact." Well, no takey backsies, Evie. I'm sorry, I'm not. But she said she heard of him again and got another book recommended by the same author, Little Big. I have to look it now. I have to look that up. Okay, I have a hair here. Go away. Ugh, there. I shouldn't have gotten rid of it. Yeah. Well, I mean, how do I? Here, height. There we go. You know, one of the things that I thought of, because I received a bunch of books that I already had, either using those for the next book box, right? Or if there's something you're like, you know, I was thinking about grabbing that. So you let me know. I'm happy to send those out. And I need 2 copies of most of the books here, except for Green Rider. That's the only book I have multiple copies of. Oh, no, and Dune.
Oh, yeah.
Out of him, too. Oh, yeah, because of the book box.
Dune. I put Dune in there.
Well, and Alan took it, and then
the
mass market paperback. So I'm fine. I just wanted that cover. I just
like, sir, this was not a way to get rid of your unwanted formats.
No,
but that happened.
I put a mass market in there just for Alan, and he didn't take it. I was so mad. Though he was like, "I already have this." I'm like, I put a mass market in there just because Alan likes them. Like, for some reason, he's the only person I know that like prefers mass market paperbacks because he is a monster.
Nope. No, I don't understand.
Or he's just not blind like I am. Like, I'm looking at these mass markets like, what is that word? Like,
for me,
well,
they're always so tightly bound.
Yes.
You have to read them like in it. Like,
yeah, because you don't want to bend the spine, but you have to. You're forced to. With
you're breaking that spine.
Exactly.
It's just crack. I read
they look the worst. After you read it once, your mass market paperback looks like you ran over it with a car, had a dog, you know, run away with it or whatnot. It's just, no.
Yeah, I read the first Wheel of Time book, which is the one I put in there, in that mass market paperback format. And it was torture.
Imagine, because that's a big book.
Oh my God, I bet the words are minuscule.
Right. Like, have you ever seen the Stormlight Archives mass markets? It's ridiculous. Like, it should not be a thing.
They're ridiculous as a trade paperback already. I don't even know how people read those. They are so massive.
They're having in the hardbacks. I have 2 in hardback, and it's like
you have to learn. You have to go.
You get a workout.
You get a workout, and if somebody breaks into your house, you have a built-in weapon. I'm just gonna throw Way of Kings at them. Start chucking Sanderson books.
I'm picturing this right now.
I want to see the police report for that.
Right?
Can that become an insurance report, Stephanie?
It was.
Can you imagine that police report? My neighbor's throwing books at someone. I think she's getting robbed.
And as the insurance adjuster, I would be like, what book was it?
I need to know what book this was.
Like, were you okay? Good. What book was it?
Add this to my collection.
It's a very special book.
Yeah. Self-defense lessons. Here's a book.
Then you can make a cool video about how Sanderson saved my life.
Exactly.
That is a twist, though, that a lot of people would not see coming, probably.
Right? People are probably like, oh, it's on like a sentimental level. No, literally, I threw words of radiance at the sky. It's going to happen one day.
Oh, my goodness. This is great. All right. Books that you put into the box. Did you have, I know we talked a little bit about that already, but did you have like specific books where it was like, this was my thought when I put it in, this is what I wanted to happen? I know, Kate, you said like, hey, I think it was the Prince biography, right, for Evie, and then she didn't.
Yeah. I mean, like all of the books that I put in, all 5 books, I thought of Evie for different reasons. Like for the Prince one, I thought of Evie because Evie loves purple, and Prince was all about purple. Like that was his life. And it's just such a beautiful book that I thought, you know, this is unique. Evie loves unique books, so she'll love this. And then there's like, you know, the book that Stephanie ended up getting about Einstein's wife. I was like, this is a different spin on historical fiction, and Evie loves different things, so I'm putting that in there. And then I think there was one book that I put in there that she actually already owned, so that was okay.
That
I
was
also,
about to happen,
I
right?
also put thoughts into like, okay, even if Evie doesn't take any of these books, I still want to put books in that like everyone else will enjoy, because I was the second person to get the box, so I had the rest of the
You
list
had a whole pipeline.
to think of.
Yeah.
So like, I was like, Jessi will love the Prince one,
Yes.
and Stephanie will love the Einstein one, and Kate will love the Zelda Fitzgerald one that I put in. So I tried to think of like everyone else in the box too, beyond Evie. I love you, Evie.
See, I only had 2 after me. I only had because Alan was the very last person.
And
So
he's
it was like me, Alan, and then it went back. So I'm like, all right, well, if Alan doesn't like him, I know.
Phoebe better
They're
like
still going
him.
to a good home. Yeah. Which I put some YA in there, and I knew Alan wasn't gonna be a fan of. But
You never know.
you never know. Sometimes he'll surprise you. Take stuff for his wife that he doesn't think of.
Yeah, because I was originally, when we first started this, I was going to put Ember in the Ashes in there because I have 2 copies. And then his review came out, and I was like, never mind. Because I was looking like, what might I have that he might actually like? And that was the only book on my shelf.
Alan's a hard one. I love Ember in the Ashes, by the way. So good.
It's okay. But yeah, and then I had some horror books that I thought somebody else might like, because I know Andrew sometimes reads horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he picked them all, right? I think
he did.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think there was really any horror by the time it got to me, and Andrew was right before me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, because you took all the fantasy books.
I took the Wheel of Time special edition.
That is a gorgeous edition, though. I mean,
it was.
Yes.
Replaced my mass market.
Yeah. Yeah, for me it was tricky because I had a lot of books sitting in front of me, and I was like, okay, I don't want to put in like the basic books that everybody probably read, right? I wanted to put books in that I know some people might not have seen. And I think the only one that would fall into the category was Gardens of the Moon that Evie then took, I think.
I think so, yeah.
That was the only one where I was like, oh, I hope that doesn't come back because everybody has that already or is not interested in the series. But for all the others, I was hoping that it's picks that, that people might have not seen or is interesting to, opens up other books, other genres, etc. All right.
Oh, Kate's computer is restarting.
All right. Well, she will join us once it's back up. Yeah. Yes, Evie did take. Yes, she confirms she did take that. Gardens of the Moon. Yeah.
Gardens of the Moon. Yeah.
Evie.
Yeah, and I also put in. I think you got it. I don't think Alan took it. The Owl Crate edition of the Witches one. Yes, Witches Seep to Gold. It's so pretty. I had two. I had 2 copies of it because I get Fairy Loot and like Illumicrate and Owl Crate. I don't get Owl Crate anymore, but I was like, I have 2 copies of this, so one's getting sent on.
Yeah, no, that was also one. I mean, frankly, I'm excited about all of them except for the ones that I already had. I mean, I was so excited, but I had them already. So, but the other books, there was just so much good stuff there that it's one of those. Oh, I've seen those, and I was thinking about getting it, but I never got. So I had a lot of those in here, and then just books that I would have never thought of, and they just sound interesting. So that was got me excited. Oh, and then I think I just had another thought on Evie on the books that you took. I think you also took the Guild's All Fried Diner. So that is one of the books, like an author that I really love. It's more humorous fantasy. And I really enjoy the author. I've read multiple books by him, her. I'm actually not quite sure right now. By that author, by them. And I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy that one. That was also one of those that probably no one ever heard of because I never hear anyone talk about it. So I hope you enjoy it. And we have more people reading it. That would be great. So one of the big questions I think for all of us is, when are we planning on reading these books?
Well, I took one that I've already read, but that was Eye of the World.
Yeah.
But if we're counting that, I do plan on reading book 3 in that series sometime this year. It's
Well,
taking me forever to get through Wheel of Time.
Yeah,
but
good that the year just started, so you have a lot of time.
chugging through
Mhm.
slowly.
Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly, because a lot of these will probably be when I can fit it in.
Mhm.
Because the first part of, like, the first few months of this year are so packed.
God, right.
But I'm hoping once March hits, mood reading will happen.
Yeah.
Because there's one, I thought Kate put it in, but I don't think she did this. Broken Wheel recommends. I don't remember who put
I
it
think
in.
that was the other Kate.
Yeah.
That was the other Kate. Okay.
Okay.
I've been wanting to read this one too, and I haven't had a chance to fit it in yet. So hopefully.
That actually sounded like I had to write down the copy. It's like you said it in your video. Once you let a book into your life, the most unexpected things can happen.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
I loved that.
Yeah. That has to be a t-shirt or something, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Mine is just whenever my giant TBR lets up.
Right.
I'm trying
Yeah,
not
I'm trying to read.
money read, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll see how that actually happens. But
Yeah, I'm trying to read what I own, so we're
Yeah.
hoping to fit them in quickly because
yeah, my two big goals for this year are read more of what I own and try to continue or finish more series than I start.
Same.
Same. Man, I'm bad about reading book once.
And then just moving on to the next. Like,
Moving
I
on to
want
the
to
next.
continue this series,
Yeah.
but then I totally forget and get distracted by everything else. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did start. At one point, I like started creating a list of all the series I started, and then it
Yeah.
got too big. And I'm like, no, this is not fun at all.
Right? Like, oh, I just don't
I was
even
getting
wanna know
scared. I'm like, how
anymore.
did I start that many series? Like, I kept remembering more afterwards that I had forgotten. I'm like,
So the question is then,
does not bring joy.
yes.
Exactly.
The question is then, when you like, at least that's the challenge for me. So I'll be curious how you handle that. When you start a series 1, so as an example, I have, I think, 3 books here from the book box that are part 1 of a series, but I don't have the other books yet. So the whole read what you own kind of goes southway when you like the series, right? And
Yeah.
you only have book 1, it's like, well, but now I have to buy book 2 and 3 and whoever many.
Right?
So that's why I say read what I own, but also continue or finish series, because that covers that.
It covers both.
On mine,
It's
read
the
what you
loophole.
own. Library books don't count
Yeah.
Yes.
because you're not purchasing them.
Right.
Oh yeah, use your library more. I agreed.
Yeah.
Oh no, what happened?
Uh-oh. But yeah, I also started tracking this year how much I'm saving by using the library.
Mhm.
And so far, I've already paid for all my library cards, and it's only January. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me
I have,
some
like-
weird. Sorry, go ahead, Kate.
I think I have like 3 or 4 different library apps that I use, and like 10 different library cards.
Right.
Yeah, I try usually like buddy reads on books where I'm not so sure about, or that I like, hey, I wanted to always read it, but I don't want to buy it right now because you know,
Right.
you can add books to your library, to your actual library. So that's when I use my library then for.
Exactly.
Mhm.
My problem is the Amazon wish list. I always add books on there that I like hear about, and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then people send it to me, so then
Yeah.
I own it, and I'm like, it's like
Yeah.
3/4 of the books in my apartment now are books that like people have sent me, or my stepdad goes to the dump and they have like a book bin at the dump where people just put books they don't want there. And he
Oh.
brings back like boxes of books for me. And I'm like,
That's
I
great.
feel like Sharon. I'm living in like a book fort right now.
So that was Kate now saying in a polite way, please don't send me books for my wish list anymore.
I mean,
Right.
I love getting books. I'll never say no to books. But the
But
other day, my boyfriend was like, "How many books do you own?" I'm like, "You mean you like actually want me to count?" He's like,
can
"That's
you count
you
the
really?
time?
Want to know the answer to that,
Right.
sir?
Like,
This is a little early in the relationship. for that to talk."
look, even my husband does not know how many books I own. He just walks in.
Yeah,
Oh,
all good, all good. Jessi, I think you muted yourself.
I did. There we go. This is like walks into the office and he's like, okay, and like leaves.
Also, like John varies on like wanting to give me everything I want and all the books that I want. But then because he's a tech guy, like one day he was like, "Can't you make them all digital?" I'm like, I have like ebooks and audiobooks too, but
Oh, we're talking physical and digital books.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, God.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
endless.
The endless TBR.
yeah. No, my public Amazon wish list is, I have like I think 10 or 15 books on there, just the ones that I know I wouldn't buy, but if someone is looking for a good gift, well, there's a
Yeah.
good idea. But my private wish list is a nightmare. Like that thing is a dumping ground of, ooh, this sounds good. Ooh, this sounds good.
Yeah,
That's mine. I just add every book I hear.
Yeah.
same. I'm like,
I'm
oh,
like,
that
I'll get
sounds
to it one day.
one day. Yeah.
Yeah.
John has 2 books on his TBR. I'm like, you don't need.
only 2?
Yeah. I'm like,
Wow.
one's about vampires and one's about werewolves.
I mean,
I
hey,
mean, good
I'm like,
topic.
okay, but you need a couple more on there.
right? Like we need. It's okay. My husband does not read. Like he is not a reader. I'm trying to get him to read Kings of the Wild, and I think I've convinced him to read it because I'm pretty sure like that's the one. Like
He
that's
would love it.
That's
He
a
would love
fun
it.
one.
It's his music genre. Like you get into his truck, and that is like what's playing is like 70s classic rock.
best.
So.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're gonna like this, Evie.
Sorry, I
Like
didn't
yours.
see your message, Fina, until like just now.
And
So,
Max.
All good. All good.
Oh, the puppy.
Hi, Max.
Hey,
Is
Max.
that George there too?
yep,
The whole gang.
Oh.
Aw.
this is probably TMI, but Max has not pooped today because
Oh,
he's just like,
no.
it's way too cold,
Oh.
way too much
Oh.
snow. I'm
Yeah,
not
no. Blame
staying
him.
out long enough.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
blame him.
I don't blame him. My Florida dog thinks it's too cold right now. And I agree that it's too cold.
I
For
was gonna
Florida.
say, I was talking to Leslie earlier, and
It is
the
cold,
temperature
y'all.
she told me was freaking cold.
It's cold. It's Florida and it's in the 40s. I'm
We got snow.
not freaking
For the
happy.
3rd weekend in a row, we got snow here in
Oh
North
my
Carolina.
God. Yeah.
It'll
Mhm.
all melt by the time like tomorrow comes around.
I don't. That's
Because it's only like just covered the ground this time. Last weekend we got like a good 2 inches.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
we have about 2 feet and it's still snowing.
That's
Jeez.
It
ridiculous.
looks pretty though. Like
Right.
from afar.
From afar.
This is my second cup of hot cocoa, so
Aw.
My kids the other day were asking, so when are we going to the beach again? I'm like, this summer. We go every summer
When it's beach
with
weather.
like another couple and their kids. And they're like, but when are we going to the beach? I'm like, it is January. It is, we are not, what? We're not planning this right yet. Y'all stop. I want to go to the beach. Yeah, me too. I want it to be hot, but
Not 40 degrees. Nope.
no.
That's no fun.
No. So Evie, have you read any of the books yet?
I mean, technically, I read Gardens of the Moon already.
That
But
is
that
true.
was like a
You did.
replacement book.
That was what I said with Wheel of Time. I was like, I read Eye of the World.
We're getting
So-
there eventually, right?
Yeah. At least we're
Yeah.
all on the same page.
Yeah. I mean,
I
we
highly
can
doubt
make it-
that anyone else has either, like Alan or Andrew, like or Leslie. I don't think any of them have read any of them yet.
I mean, with all the buddy reads, right? We could do a
Right?
buddy read in December, maybe.
of next year.
Right?
Yes, of course.
Right. Like I'm the worst about buddy reads because I'm such a mood reader. That like I'm the type of person that's like, I want to look at my shelves and just pick something out today. Like I try to plan, y'all.
Yeah.
I have a
My
3-book
thing-
TBR for February, and I was like, that's it. Just these 3 books. That's it. And then
That's
just whatever
nice.
else I want to read.
Mm.
Yeah, my thing is that similar to Kate is I sign up for all the buddy reads because I'm like, I want to be a part of the conversation. I want
Right.
to discuss with people, and then I look and be like, oh crap, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to disappoint somebody. So
Right?
I'll be like, sorry, can't do it.
Yeah, that was me last year, and I'm like, I'm just not doing
Yeah.
any this year.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's the first year fully being in the booktube world and doing all the
Yeah.
buddy reads. So I have a plans now with buddy reads till September. And I was like, this is nuts, people. This is nuts.
Right.
I
never
have an
planned that
entire
far.
spreadsheet where I created the spreadsheet to keep track of my buddy reads to make sure I didn't over commit. I even have fields that counts how many for each month, and if I go over a certain number, it starts changing colors. And do I pay attention to those numbers and colors and warnings? Nope.
Not at all.
Yeah. And
I
then
have
in
8 buddy
addition,
reads planned for March. 8.
oh wow.
Yeah. I'm disappointing a lot of people. Just who? I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I have 2 for February, and that's it. And one is because it's the shelf space book. So I'm doing shelf space with Katie from Brightness Katie Reads. So that's our book, and then I'm doing a buddy read of the 3rd Ember in the Ashes book with another booktuber. And I'm like, that's it. I'm good.
Can you teach me how to say no? Or not even ask?
I'm not very good at that yet, so
I think it's more the patience of not missing out, the FOMO piece of I really want to read it with these people because A, the people are awesome, and B, the book is awesome, and then you're like, I don't know.
right.
But when you feel that way for every single book, then you get like me and Evie, where your entire TBR is just all buddy reads.
Yeah, I was just telling them while your computer was restarting how, I've got my spreadsheet set up to keep track of all my. I don't pay attention to my warnings that I set up.
It was good intentions.
Yeah. Past me was very optimistic, so
We still are optimistic, right? We just continue on.
Look, I do that too. I'm like, I'm gonna do all the things and write it in my planner and make them, and then it's like, well, I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Is it gonna happen? Probably not.
I have less buddy reads and read-alongs, but still way too many, and for 1 month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So to answer the question, yes, on the buddy read for the traveling book box.
Right. I mean, that would actually be kind of fun because it would be all different books.
Right.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
kind of
Like we wouldn't all be
incentivizes us
reading the
to-
same book.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I like that.
All right. So another buddy read.
Got this.
I love it.
We'll fit it in.
That would be worth another live show then about the traveling book box. Now that we finally read a book 3 months
Right.
later.
Right.
When did we start? In August? So by August, that's when we should.
Yeah, by August.
And it was really a year project. Oh my goodness.
It was. I will not be reading that 10-book series or whatever. It was huge. It's like this.
Well, if you read one of the 10 books,
One of them.
that kind of counts, right? I mean, it would be
Right.
100 pages.
Although I think that whole 10-book series is like the size of a Sanderson Stormlight Archives book. So really, it's fine.
Yeah.
Jessi, that could be your entire TBR for next year.
Yeah. No, my entire TBR for the past year was Cosmere, and I'm like so burned out on super structure because we read 1 book a month for 13 months.
That's a lot.
It was great. It was a great experience, but oh my god, by the time I'm trying to power through Rhythm of War in 15 days to get to a live show, I'm like, don't talk to me, don't look at me, just let me be depressed.
Yeah, I might come to you eventually to ask for help because I'm realizing that my Green Rider read along that I did for 8 months is also I don't know what I signed up for. I
Right.
should have thought that through.
If it makes you feel any better, the Dune series read along that was starting in August. We should have been on actually finished with the series this month. Guess who
No.
hasn't even started book 3?
Oh. Yeah.
Well, we are starting over in June. So because I have a buddy read with Leslie, and I think she wanted to do a bigger buddy read starting in June. So, you know, you can just tag on to that. Evie.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, no, so basically I just made it like I told the people like on the Discord and on those channels or whatever. I'm like, yeah, it's just basically read whenever you want. Like
Right.
no pressure. I'm just done with structure at this point.
Like the Mary Shelley one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Basically, all the read-alongs I had planned, I'm just like, whatever. If you want to read it, cool. If I want to read it, cool. If I don't,
Yeah.
you guys can still read it.
It took me how long to get to read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norwell?
Oh my god, that book
It
is so
took you a
good.
while.
No,
Yeah.
it took you a couple months, but you finished it really quickly. Like,
Yeah.
Because like once I got to a certain point, I didn't want to stop reading.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I also have like a method where like when I finish a book, I usually read at least two physical books at once, plus like an
Okay.
ebook and an audiobook. And when I finish one physical book, then the other one kind of takes priority until I finish. And that's how I kind of manage my books.
Yeah.
So once I finished, I don't even remember what book it was, but once I finished the one that had started before Jonathan Strange, then Jonathan Strange took priority, so I just powered through. But that
I
book,
wish I could do audio. I have tried and failed every time.
I mostly do audio for like nonfiction stuff, but
See, I
with
think
that-
I could do that.
yeah,
Or
but with
women.
that said, I haven't really been listening to audio unless I'm like really struggling with
Mhm.
a work. So, and if it's not something that I don't want to DNF, like it's an obligation or something like that, I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna see if I can get an audiobook and I'll kind of hopefully power through it. But there's actually a nonfiction book that I started a little bit early for the Zora Neale Hurston read along or
Oh, okay.
thing with Leslie. I'm reading it in print and it is so fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just Zora Neale Hurston, her writing is just perfection in my opinion. So
I just think fantasy, like especially if you're reading it for the first time,
Yeah.
on audiobook,
Yeah.
it's just
Mhm.
depends on the book. Like I'm reading
terrifying.
the first book in the Sword of Truth series on audio right now, and that's
Yeah.
pretty easy to follow along. Jonathan Strange is a great audiobook if you're doing an immersion read and you're following along.
Mm-hmm.
Like the narrator is fantastic, but the book has like footnotes where the narrator of the audiobook doesn't really delineate very well when there's a footnote
Oh.
and when it's just like the regular text. So if you're following along on text, it's fantastic. Like he does a really great job narrating it. But if you're just listening to the audiobook, you're like, wait, what is this?
What is going on? Yeah.
Yeah, how would you do footnotes on audiobook? I can see that being tricky.
He just
Yeah.
says like note 1 and then he reads it and then he goes right into the text. He doesn't like pause after it. Like I've heard other narrators read like footnotes where they like read it kind of separately. They say, you know, footnote 1 and they read it and then there's like a pause
Mhm.
and then they go back to the text. This guy just
Okay.
like went straight in back into the text. There was no pause, so you're like, where does this end and where does this start?
Yeah.
What's going on? Yeah.
Awesome.
I
Back
want
to
to
the
start
book
doing
box.
my rereads. Oh yeah. The book box.
That's what was your favorite moment of the whole experiment?
Oh God.
Mine was watching everyone open the
Yeah.
box.
I loved that. I loved
my
getting to watch
favorite.
everyone open it.
Yeah. That was my favorite part.
Listening to Alan complain before he even got the box.
Yes. God. Just complaining. And then he complained when he got the box.
One of his comments was even like, "This is the lowest energy video that I've ever seen from you." I was like, the commenter's not wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
We had like a 6-month wait.
Right.
Well, tell me about it. I was the last one.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
he's like that. He kept saying there was no fantasy books in there. I'm like, you are wrong. You are incorrect in this assumption, sir.
There were a couple.
There were.
Yeah.
YA counts as fantasy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
there were
the books changed significantly
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing.
They did.
So
Yeah, we had a moment in there where there were more non-fantasy books, like a lot of fiction and historical fiction and biographies, and was like, I think it was between Kate the Almost Book Director, Stephanie Yu, and who was after you, Stephanie?
Andrew,
and he then put gazillion fantasy books back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that it is a bad thing, right? But yeah,
No.
it was like a complete whoop.
That was my fault. I changed direction.
Oh,
It's
that's
fine.
okay. Listen, that's okay. And I thought it was funny that we had the night circus twice in there.
I know. Once I watched that, I was like, hey. And then someone took it. So I didn't even know someone had put it in there like before me.
Yeah.
I
And
think
that
that was the
changed
one that I
moment.
put in that Evie already had. And
I
I was
think
like,
so,
I know
yeah.
she loves Erin Morgenstern, so I'm gonna put this in. And she's like, yeah, I already have it. Like, I think I actually sent it to her as a gift before, and I totally forgot.
Yeah, but honestly, you probably did, and I didn't even realize. But yes, I did already have it, and I had Ring Shout by P. Jelly Clark.
Yeah, that's the reason I didn't take Ring Shout is because I already have it too.
Yeah. That
Have
was
I
the
read
book
it?
that
No,
came back.
but do I have it? Yes.
That was one of the Boomerang books. Yep.
For me, I mean, I just like the entire experience. Like, I think it was really, really fun just, picking out books because I knowing that I was sending my box to Dr. Kate. I'm like, all right, well, what kind of books may she like? What kind of books would everybody else like? And, and it was a really nice experience all around. So, and then, like you guys said, seeing Alan curmudgeonly,
Be like, there's no fantasy in here.
Ignore all the books for Christina.
Right, ignore
Right.
all the Christina books. Then go back and watch my video, and I'm like, oh, Alan won't like this, but Christina will. And he messaged me. He's like, yeah, I didn't even think about taking anything for Christina. I'm like, come on.
well, at least we have ideas for books to get for Christina now.
Right?
For me, it was the anticipation, really. This whole while we were waiting here, because it was 2 months, I think, that the box was on its way.
Yeah.
And I was like, I knew what I put in. I'm so curious to see what comes back. And oh my God, and what does everybody pick? And yeah, that was for me the part. And then watching the videos too, like watching everybody one after another. Bless you. Was the dog sneezing? No,
my husband is doing something in the game room, and something just dropped.
All right.
He didn't yell, so I'm sure he's fine.
He's fine.
Yeah, and watching the videos and seeing the excitement in everybody's face, and Leslie's "oh crap" moment was like, I need to pick and choose. I loved Lucy. I wanted to have Lucy at the end of the day. I would have loved for her to show up in the box. Like,
if I would have left her in there, she probably would have.
Right.
But I'm sure someone before me would have picked her up. Instead.
Yeah.
I don't think she would have stayed
There's no
long.
room for books, but you get Lucy instead.
Right.
Yeah. And the confusion of everyone. It's like, I thought we'd do 10 books. This is more than 10 books.
Right.
Hilarious. I love that a lot.
Because some of us just have to put extra.
Yeah, because you really did extra. You put bookmarks
I put
in there.
bookmark. Alan took my bookmarks.
Once I saw your video, I was like, oh, Jessi went really all out.
Yeah,
Alan
the
did
coloring
take the
book.
bookmarks.
Yeah, the coloring book.
And the
was
coloring book, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was good.
I
Yeah.
stock up on those. I got a bunch of them at like the Dollar Tree, like they were closed out pricing or whatever. And I picked up a bunch of them over Christmas and like put them in like Christmas, all my Christmas gifts. People got like Charles Dickens coloring books.
They're perfect. Why not?
Right?
What else are you going to do with nowhere to go over Christmas and those crazy times? So,
Exactly.
perfect.
Colored Charles Dickens stuff.
Just
Yeah.
what everyone wants.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
not Alan.
Christina might have.
She might
Again,
have. She
yeah.
would have
I didn't
appreciated
think
But
about
that.
unfortunately, we'll never know. Thanks to
We'll
Yeah.
never
Alan.
know.
Yeah. Would you do it again?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Would you do
I would
something
say
different?
like probably more strict parameters for like people like Alan. Like we just
Yeah.
do fantasy to make sure that
Maybe put
There's
him
no
toward the
disappointment.
beginning of the
Yeah.
list.
You're like, poor Alan.
sad trombone. Wah, wah.
Yeah, he didn't even put a thumbnail together, nothing. He was just like, oh, here's the video. I'm good. Sounds about right. Yeah, that was what I was thinking, that I would do themed book boxes because I love the nonfiction,
Yeah.
the non-fantasy stuff too. But I think, yeah, next round is going to be a fantasy sci-fi specific one, then maybe something like a cozy one with romance and mystery and those type of things.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, and then a third one with more random stuff, whatever. Or
Horror and thrillers. I'm putting that out here.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like we were saying earlier, the stuff that I picked was stuff I might not have picked up in the store. So it was really
Mhm.
nice to get stuff that,
Yeah.
that I
Yeah, the
probably
ones I
wouldn't
picked,
have
I
picked.
definitely probably would not have like gone out and bought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Or alternatively, here's an idea. All the participants pick a genre. They have to put all the books in there, and you have a limit of like you can only pick 2 or 3 or whatever. So that gives the ability for other people to have variety.
That would be fun too.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Well, maybe at one point we have multiple boxes flowing around.
Right.
Who knows? With different
Like
groups. That's what because I mean, I didn't come up with the idea, right? I saw that at a German booktuber. It was a group of German booktubers doing that.
Okay.
And they actually had at one point 3 book boxes being
my
sent
gosh.
around. Not always the same booktubers. It was different
wow.
groups or
Oh wow.
depending on the genre. But the person organizing it, she had like 3 book boxes being sent around. It was pretty
wow.
interesting to
That's
see.
cool.
Yeah.
That's a lot to keep track of, though.
I know.
Yes. Yes.
I'd be
From an
stressed.
organizational perspective alone, because I was always sitting here like if I didn't hear anything within a week, it's like, okay, am I the annoying one right now if I ask him of where's the box?
Well, no, and then toward the end, everybody was like, so-and-so, do you have it yet?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Yeah, I just love it how, Fina, you create this entire spreadsheet and then people don't use it. It's like, you can just tracking. On the bright side, really good thing that came out of this, Stephanie, I think, is informed delivery. You
It
now
was.
can know and track your packages.
Right.
It really helped me. It changed my life.
Do you know what? I now see, so my husband plays Magic the Gathering and he orders like individual cards that he wants for his decks for the card game. So I now get the information through that informed delivery of all the Magic cards that he has been ordering. And it's a
Well,
lot.
cat's out of the bag.
He can never complain about how many books you have now.
Thankfully, he
Exactly.
does it anyway, but yes. Oh, man.
Like they have their vices too.
Exactly.
Well, that's where he is right now anyway, so that's good. I have
That's
the house to
hysterical.
myself. I'm happy.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
over.
Plus
I
the
will
box.
continue reading that second book, Evie, in the Bear and the Nightingale trilogy once we're done here. That's where I
Oh,
will be
yay.
good too. Mm-hmm.
I needed a comfort read, so I started The Winter of the Witch early. So,
Aw.
yeah.
I'm so behind. I'm starting The Girl in the Tower this week.
You're on. Wait, are you on the second one or the third one?
The second one.
Do you want me to switch you to the third one? I can do that.
No, I'm fine. I did
Okay.
it on purpose because I didn't want to start it too early
Oh,
and then forget. It'll be fine. But
Okay.
I waited until the week of.
When is your live show, Evie?
Or this coming Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next Saturday.
And it's not a long book. So
It's very quick.
Yeah.
Don't say 4 p.m. Eastern. That would be because that's where my live show is with the Green Rider Read Along. I want to watch your live show too.
Is it at 4 p.m.?
no, I think it's earlier in the day.
Oh yeah,
right?
no, it's at like 11, I think, because Leona's on there and Igor. So yeah, it's at 11 a.m. I think.
Perfect. So
Yay!
Winter of the Witch. Wait, no, that's would be for the Girl in the Tower, right? That's what
Yes.
Girl in
Yeah.
the Tower is the live show next 11 Eastern. You've heard it here first. No, not really.
Breaking news, everyone.
Breaking news.
And then at 4 p.m. Eastern, it's for the Green Rider read along. It's definitely Kate and I talking about that one. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I feel like I need to prepare for that now that it's just us two.
I think we'll find. It was a good
I've live shows before where I haven't prepared, and I'm like,
Always.
I liked it a lot.
That's going to be the quickest live show ever, then, I guess.
That's all my live shows. I'm not prepared for this. Yeah.
I was so thankful that I had you and Andrew on the Nicholas Eames interview.
Oh my God, I was
I
so
had like
nervous.
literally just finished the book right before we started the show.
I remember.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, and now I have to remember everything that happened in the first book and the second book and be able to like be cool and calm in front of this huge author.
Right? That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's my problem. Like,
Meanwhile, we just were like fangirling the whole time.
yeah. He was so nice though.
He was super cool.
He was so nice. Just chilling down to earth.
So if it makes you feel any better, Kate, I had no structure for the Jonathan Strange discussion, like literally none. I had reached out to them like less than a week before and be like, hey, you guys want to do this? And they're like, sure. And I'm like, what about this day? Sure.
Yeah.
And two of them hadn't read the book in probably like at least 6 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realize it was that old.
yep. And I'm like, all right, so this might be chaos, but we'll see what happens.
Those are the best
Good.
times.
I agree. The worst is when you didn't like the book you're doing the live show on. Because I had that happen. Bethany and I both didn't really like Kill the Queen, which was our shelf space book for, I think, December. Our poor live show. It went off the rails. There was just some ranting, and then it just turned into like just random conversation. Because we were like, well, we don't have anything else to say about this book. We did not like it.
But sometimes it's good, right? A good discussion looks into both sides, right? The
Yeah.
liking and the not liking. So
Exactly.
I guess. Although I would not want to have anyone not liking my books on a live show when I'm gushing about the book.
Right.
I
At
promise
least
not to say
Bethany
anything
and I
bad about
both
Green Rider.
didn't like it.
Oh, I know you won't. Even
Well,
though you gave
I
it
mean-
2.5 stars originally.
I mean, did any of you guys watch the Dune discussion that we did with Joanna?
Parts
No.
of it, yeah.
Me and Abby and a few other people.
I watched part of it. I like that though because it's differing opinions.
Yeah, it is, but it was also a little bit uncomfortable, at least for me, because I felt bad. I'm like, I don't want to make Abby feel like we're gaining up on her for
Oh,
having a
no.
dissenting opinion.
No.
No, I mean I didn't like Dune either, so it's fine.
Wait, what? Ouch. Ouch.
I loved the movie.
I hated the movie.
I
Oh my
love the
god, I
movie.
hated the movie.
I'm
My
indifferent
husband and
about
I watched the movie after I DNF'd the book.
I don't know if you heard, but my husband just like went like that. He's like, that's crap, because he loves the movie.
I
So-
liked the movie.
He likes the original 19 Oh, you heard it. Okay.
The original 1980s movie. So much cheese.
Who likes the 1984 version better? Like, ugh.
I mean, if you're going for camp,
Quirky?
like,
This is why differing opinions is the best entertainment.
And especially
agree.
when you're married to one of them.
Exactly.
So,
like I love camp. I love campy movies.
But
Like,
the new one has Jason Momoa.
I mean, that's all I needed.
Oscar Isaac was the main draw for me. Oh
Yeah.
my god, Oscar.
He was good too.
Also agree.
Oscar Isaac is in like all of my favorite sci-fi films. He was in Annihilation. He was in Ex Machina. He was
I love
in.
Ex Machina.
He's going to be in Moon Knight, which is.
I saw the-
superhero thing, but
I saw that.
yeah,
Looks
and then
good.
what was crap? What was that other
He was
one?
in Star Wars.
Star
Yeah.
Wars, yes,
Oh,
the
he
big
was in
one.
Star Wars. Star Wars.
Oh yeah, that.
I love him.
He's so cool.
He is.
The book
He's
is
a good
still
looking
better.
dude.
The 4 copies that have he approve it.
Yeah, all the copies.
You know, it's okay to have more than one copy of a book. I don't know
Agreed.
if you can That's my Strange the Dreamer shelf.
Nice.
My Green Rider shelf. I have
Yeah.
2 copies each now. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Break it down.
Yeah, I have 2 copies of the Poppy War series, and I'm like seriously debating getting like the Subterranean Press Poppy War covers.
Gorgeous.
Like,
You
do
have
I
our
need it?
support, Jessie.
No, but do I want them? Yes.
It's never a matter of need.
Like, we've got the UK editions from Illuma Crate. I've got the regular American editions. Like, just really liked the Poppy War.
Oh. Awesome.
All of these special editions.
Well, I have I got the Fairy Loot editions of the Winter Night trilogy, and I got the first.
Those are so
Those are
pretty.
so pretty.
So
UK editions are pretty too. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then I have the UK edition. It's somewhere. Sam actually got that for me, so
Aw.
which was very nice. But spoiler alert, I'm gonna be doing a giveaway because I actually got 2 sets of the Fairy Loot Winter Night trilogy things.
Oh.
So I'm gonna be doing a giveaway at the end of the read along. So
Oh.
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
All right.
Breaking news!
How do the bribes work, Evie?
I know, right?
It is going to. I will have instructions at the end of during the live show of the last book, and I will have instructions. It will be essentially a random,
The
like
random
random
wheel.
thing, just a wheel thing. So
Okay, so you need
there's
to
no
figure out
bribing involved. Just
how to hack the wheel and bribe the wheel.
How to bribe the wheel.
if you know technology, feel free to hack the website. So,
Not it. I'm out.
Aha!
Look, I'm out on that one.
Yeah, I work for a tech company. There are a lot of smart developers there. Maybe I can grab one of those.
You
Yeah.
gotta bribe them to get
Right,
Yeah.
now, could I get one of my web designers or developers or programmers to do it that I work with? Probably.
That's where the
Could I do it? Mm-mm.
Nah.
I'm the content writer. Like,
Alrighty. I think we talked an hour now about, well, the book box, among other things.
among other things. It's just been
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining. I think an hour is perfect to talk about the box as well as anything else book related. I really appreciate for doing this with me, for joining me in that adventure of the book
it
box.
was
it was a lot of fun. Thank you for coordinating.
Yes.
And I'm definitely doing another one. I wanted to start a while ago, but January was just nuts so far. But maybe in February I can start another one. Probably more themed. Again, we'll test the waters and we'll see. And yeah, I'm excited to do another round of these after we read some of the books as part of our buddy read. We'll figure things out as we go. Awesome. Well, I hope you have as snow-free or storm-free as possible Saturday afternoon and Sunday.
no.
And we talk again soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.